and welcome. I'm Kira the Scrivener, and today I'm going to be talking about the Booktube Real Talk 2.0. This is a video and tag and idea that was created by Alyssa J. and Julia Saphir, and they are two wonderful Canadian booktubers, and I want to do this today. I think that it's a really important tag to talk about the things in our lives and the things on our channels that we don't always talk about, and I know it's weird writing in a weird area. That is because I'm in my kitchen, because I'm cooking veggies, because one of the things that it would be really great if you did this in your everyday life. I have chronic health issues and I work from home, so I don't really necessarily have a regular routine, but one of the things because of my chronic health is that I have to cook almost every meal I can, because I can't eat pretty much anything ever that is not homemade. So I cook a lot of things. So I'm going to be doing this. It's going to be loud, but this is the best I could think of. So the first question is, what piece of advice would you give yourself when you first started? And I am one of those peculiar people that never really discovered Booktube until I immediately started making videos. So I would say just watch more videos. I think that by creating and looking at other people's videos, you're really able to have creative juices in your own head, because I think that at first it can be really weird to make videos and to find ideas and to feel creative, so you do a lot of tags and you're insecure and all of that. At least that's the case for me. So I think that by being able to, okay, this is so ridiculous, I should cut something that's not carrots, because carrots are so loud. I'm gonna have a nice green pepper in here. I think that they really help us be able to understand the things in our lives and to get a niche, because there's different areas of Booktube, and when you first start seeing them, it's really only the big booktubers, and getting involved in the small booktubers community and understanding that, I think, is a really important aspect. Question number 2 is thoughts on cancel culture. A video by my lovely friend Chisana C did a video on this, and I think that you should watch that because she said a lot of wisdom. But pretty much I think that it can be really toxic. I think that I made a few videos on the aspect that we need to listen before we characterize people, and I think that by being able to learn from other people is kind of the basis of education and learning, and as people who love books, that's things we hopefully value. So I think that it's really important to try to create a space where it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to have different opinions, because that's really important. And I think that by becoming more educated is the best way to decrease stigma and decrease oppression in our world, because sometimes people just don't know better. I grew up in a very conservative household, and I held a lot of beliefs that I'm ashamed of now because of the beliefs that I was taught, because I didn't know any better. And if my friends from different cultures, from different backgrounds, and sexualities and stuff had have been not great, I probably would have continued to have those beliefs. But because of the fact that I encountered people and had emotional attachments with them and learned and valued them, I was able to see their opinions through mine and change the way that I look at the world. And I think that that's kind of at least one of the things that I endeavor to do through reading and writing. I think that reading books is one of the best ways to become more accepting of the world, because it's really hard to hate or dislike people when you're reading from their point of view. So that is my thoughts on it. I do think that there's important also, sometimes people are saying toxic things, and you need to separate yourself for your own self care and stuff. But I think that unless it's something to do with identity or direct attach or something like that, then it's really healthy to just allow people to be wronged and to confront them privately and not publicly. And also, don't take everyone's word for it. Don't just cancel someone without actually knowing what's happening or things like that as well, because that's just mob activity, and we don't need to kill the beast just because Gaston saw there was a beast. So the next question is on book consumerism. I think that this is a really toxic aspect of our community. I think that it's very easy to get caught in this. I started Booktube with barely any books where I lived, and I bought a lot of books. And yes, I don't spend a lot of money on books. I pretty much only have used books or books that have been given to me as gifts, and yet I feel a lot of guilt. I think I'm a minimalist, and I'm very, very frugal in almost all areas of my life, and I use books is kind of that one thing to spend money on. But I still feel a lot of guilt, because that money can be very useful and very productive, and there's a lot of need in our world, and I don't think that it's bad to spend money on things we like, but I think that it should be in proportionate to the things that we spend money on other things and the way we take care of. If you're buying books and you're not being able to afford things that you need in life, then that's an issue. If you're spending a lot of your income on books and you're not giving back to your community and people that need it, that's also really toxic. And if you're in college or you're not having a lot of money and you're spending a lot of books and you're damaging your future, I think that's also a really bad aspect. So I don't think that it's bad to own books, but I think that we need to be more, we need to think more about how we're spending our money, and that's something I think about a lot, and I often have a lot of guilt over it, and I'm like, that's why I have an issue with large book on hauls, not because I think that it's bad to unhaul books, but if they're books that you haven't read, then I'm like, that's a lot of money that you could have put into better areas of your life, and I don't think that we should ever value money too highly because it is just a usefulness, but it's something that a lot of people lack. So by not respecting money, you're not respecting the community and the people that need it. And I think that it's a huge sign of privilege to be able to waste money. These are some pretty thick beliefs, but I think that I have a lot of opinions on the subject, and I don't mean this as an attack against anyone who does spend it. If you have that money, then great. I also hope that you're using a lot of your other money in good ways as well, though. And then the next question is, do you feel like you are a critical reviewer? I do. I think that I'm more critical than a lot of people, and I sometimes have feelings about that as well, because I think that I should honor the people that make things, but I also want to use my star ratings to the best of my ability. I don't think that I often have security in the fact that I can review well, and that's something that I continuously try to work on my channel, because I like my reviews normally when I'm done, but I'm always afraid that I'm going to miss things, that there's aspects that I just don't understand, or that somehow I will come off looking like a fool, and that is something that is a great insecurity in me that I need to get over, because pride is an issue. But I think that yes, I am, and I think that critical reviewing is really important. I think that also just enjoying books is really good, but I think that in everything we do, we can learn and we can become better people, and that's a very core tenet of my own belief. So I will always look at things critically, even for enjoyment as well. I'm sometimes able to look past the criticalness, but I think that there should always be an aspect of that. Number 5 is, do you take part in readathons, and what are your thoughts on them? So yes, I do, and I actually have a lot of thoughts on this in the last few months, because I think that it can have toxicity of like needing competition and reading too much, because I really want to be able to slow down and read those books that I haven't read enough. And yeah, so I think that it can have a lot of toxic aspects in our lives, and I think that we should be wary of how many readathons. Like, I purposely took off September. I did not read any readathons, despite the fact that I desperately wanted to, because like there was a tea-a-thon, there was Avatar: The Last Airbender, my like love, but I was like, I just need a break to be able to read the books that I want to be able to, and not to think and do all of that. So I think that they can be healthy and they're a great way of community, but I think that, again, I just think that in everything we do, we need to be thinking about the consequences in our lives. Number 7 is, recommend a book with a subject matter or topic that you're passionate about, and I am going to have 2 because I'm an overachiever. And the first one is What I Lost by Alexandra Ballard. This is a book that deals with eating disorders, specifically anorexia, which is something that I have struggled with and continue to struggle with for the majority of my life. It is something that it has a lot of negative, especially physical issues with them, and that aren't talked about, and this book does a very good job of dealing with some of the medical issues associated with it, and as well as the relapse, because it is the most deadly mental illness, and it has one of the highest death rates, not of accidents, for girls, especially teenage girls. So I think that it is a really good exploration of that. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Emma Books, for giving me the recommendation like 2 years ago. Well, through her channel. She personally did not give it to me. But it's a book that has meant a huge amount to me. And as well as The Bell Jar, this is a book that I read last summer, and it has to deal with mental health at large, especially depression and anxiety and suicidal ideation and attempt. And this is a big part of my own story. And I felt that through this book, just almost in its completion, verbalize many of the things that I struggle to verbalize, and it has seen just a huge impact on me and who I am as a person. And then I'm supposed to tag people, and for this I am going to tag the other Christine that reads, Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books, as well as Anna Francesca. So I would look forward to all of your thoughts, and anyone else who feels free to do this. I would love to hear your thoughts and all of that. And what else am I going to say? I post here frequently, so feel free to do that. Cook a home meal because too many people don't eat enough veggies, and it's good for your health. As well as you can find me on social media. I am very active on my Instagram and Twitter, and I do reviews of every single book I read on Goodreads. So you can find me below, and I feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you find adventure in the next book you read. Goodbye.